Okay, so for this deep dive, you're looking into safe travel in Asia for 2024, and you've sent over a really fascinating mix of articles and guides. We've got safety indexes, traveler anecdotes, even a bit on the happiness factor.
Right?
Should be fascinating.
Absolutely.
Ready to deep dive into the safest Asian countries.
I am very excited. Let's do it. What's really intriguing is how you've included sources that use different yardsticks to measure safe.
Right.
For you as a traveler, understanding these nuances can really shape your experience.
Yeah, that's a great point. I noticed a bunch of indexes being thrown around. Global Peace Index, Global Organized Crime Index. To be honest, it's a bit overwhelming. Where should we even start?
Well, let's take the Global Peace Index, or GPI.
Okay.
A country with a GPI score below 2.0 is generally considered very peaceful, while a score above 4.0 suggests higher risk of violence.
Okay.
Think of it as a gauge of political stability and the likelihood of violent crime.
Got it.
So if civil unrest is a major concern, the GPI is your go-to metric.
Okay, that makes sense. So a low GPI score means I can probably wander around without worrying about protests turning into riots, right?
Precisely.
Okay, good to know. Then you've got the Global Organized Crime Index, the GOCI.
Right.
This one zeroes in on the influence of criminal networks, things like human trafficking and corruption. A high score here could mean scams are more prevalent or that certain areas might be controlled by gangs.
Exactly.
So for someone like me who's maybe a bit too trusting and tends to wander off the beaten path, the GOCI is worth paying attention to.
For sure.
Okay.
And remember, these indexes are just starting points. Traveler anecdotes can add that extra layer of real-world experience, highlighting things that might not show up in the data.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into some specific countries. Singapore seems to be the safety superstar, topping almost every list. But I've also heard it can feel a bit sterile, like too much order, not enough edge. Did any of the sources touch on that?
Interestingly, one article compared Singapore to a perfectly manicured garden. Beautiful, safe, but maybe lacking a bit of wildness. They pointed out that Singapore's low crime rate, which is about 5 times lower than London's, is partly due to its strict laws and incredibly efficient law enforcement. You can walk around at any hour feeling secure, but spontaneity isn't always encouraged.
Got it. So maybe not the place to try any daring street food adventures or late-night karaoke escapades.
Probably not.
Okay.
Stick to those vibrant cultural districts like Little India or Chinatown and marvel at the futuristic architecture of Marina Bay Sands, all within a perfectly safe bubble.
Right. All right, next up is Japan, which isn't exactly a shock. But beyond the usual low crime rates, what stood out to you?
Well, the sources highlight how Japan's safety is deeply rooted in cultural values, like respect, harmony, and consideration for others. This omotenashi philosophy creates an environment where people genuinely care about your well-being.
Yeah.
Combine that with their commitment to order and efficiency, and you get a country where even the vending machines are testament to safety and convenience.
Hold on, are we talking about the vending machines that dispense hot meals, underwear, and live beetles?
Yeah.
Even for Japan, that seems a little out there.
Apparently, beetle keeping is a thing in Japan. And it speaks to how their dedication to innovation extends to even the most unexpected areas. It's this blend of cultural values and technological advancement that makes Japan so unique and, yes, incredibly safe.
Beetle vending machines aside, I'm getting serious FOMO looking at these photos of Japan. Okay, shifting gears completely. Let's talk about Bhutan.
Okay.
They focus on gross national happiness, which sounds like a lovely concept, but how does that actually translate to safety?
Well, Bhutan's approach to happiness goes beyond just warm fuzzies.
Right.
It's about creating a society where people feel content, secure, and connected to their community. Their constitution mandates environmental protection and cultural preservation, which fosters a deep sense of peace and stability.
Yeah.
This translates to a remarkably low crime rate and a society where visitors feel genuinely welcomed.
So basically, happy people are less likely to commit crimes. Makes sense, actually. But is it all just peaceful temples and mountain views? Is there anything exciting or unexpected about Bhutan?
One article described Bhutan as where spirituality meets adventure.
Interesting.
They highlighted the Tiger's Nest Monastery, precariously perched on a cliffside, as a must-visit. And for a touch of luxury amidst all the serenity, they suggested the Embarking Punakha River Lodge, nestled in a stunning Himalayan valley.
Okay, I'm adding Bhutan to my list. Serenity, adventure, and luxury sounds like my kind of travel trifecta. Now, how about a place with a little more buzz? What's the safety situation like in Taiwan?
Taiwan is another safety all-star with incredibly low crime rates. You can explore their bustling night markets, packed with delicious street food and unique finds without a worry. And it's a haven for nature lovers, with everything from towering mountains to volcanic beaches.
Right, and I heard Taiwan is a dream destination for cat lovers, too. Didn't they invent the cat cafe?
They did.
Yeah.
And it's not just any cat cafe. It's the Cat Flower Garden, a true pioneer in feline-themed relaxation. Imagine sipping tea surrounded by adorable, fluffy companions.
Wow.
It's the perfect antidote to travel stress and a testament to Taiwan's safe and welcoming atmosphere.
Okay, that settles it. Taiwan is officially on my itinerary.
Now let's talk about South Korea, the land of K-pop kimchi, and apparently some truly bizarre-themed cafes.
Right. South Korea consistently ranks high for safety, especially for women thanks to its well-developed infrastructure and strong sense of community. And yes, the themed cafe scene is something else. You've got everything from the adorable Hello Kitty cafe to the slightly less charming Poop Cafe.
The Poop Cafe, seriously, what goes on at a Poop Cafe?
I'm not entirely sure, and honestly, I'm not that curious to find out. But it's a testament to South Korea's playful and innovative culture where even the most unexpected things can be turned into a tourist attraction. And rest assured, you can experience all of it within a safe and welcoming environment. All right, so we've got our safety superstars. Singapore, Japan, Bhutan, Taiwan, and South Korea, all incredible destinations in their own right. But there are plenty of other Asian countries that are generally safe, with maybe a few caveats travelers should be aware of. Should we dive into those?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's do it. And as promised, we'll also delve into specific safety considerations for women travelers.
That's great, because I know some friends who are a bit hesitant to travel solo in Asia, especially as women. They've heard stories about scams, harassment, and even worse. What do our sources say about the realities of solo female travel in this part of the world?
One article is Southeast Asia Safe for Travelers. Tackles this head on.
Okay.
It emphasizes that while caution is always necessary, Southeast Asia is generally safe for women traveling alone. Violent attacks are rare, and the vast majority of travelers have positive experiences.
That's good to hear.
But it does offer some specific advice for women navigating the region.
I'm all ears. What are some things women should keep in mind?
Well, common sense goes a long way. Be mindful of your surroundings, avoid walking alone in dark or deserted areas, and dress modestly, especially when visiting religious sites. It's all about respecting local customs and not attracting unwanted attention.
Right. Blending in is key. But what about those situations where you do get unwanted attention, even when you're being respectful and cautious?
One source suggested having a confident response ready.
Okay.
Something like a firm no thank you, or even pretending not to understand. And if a situation feels truly uncomfortable, removing yourself quickly and seeking out a public space is always a good strategy.
Got it. So assertiveness and awareness are key. What else did the articles highlight?
Sharing your itinerary with someone back home is crucial, as is checking in regularly so someone knows your whereabouts.
Yeah.
And connecting with other travelers, especially other women, can be a game changer.
Okay.
It creates a support system and can turn solo travel into a shared adventure.
I love that turning solo travel into a group experience is brilliant, but are there any specific countries in Southeast Asia where women might need to be extra careful?
Yes. While generally safe, there are nuances to consider. One article mentioned Malaysia, where scams targeting tourists can be common. They recommended sticking to reputable transportation options and being wary of overly friendly strangers offering deals that seem too good to be true.
Makes sense. I'm a sucker for a good deal, but it's important to remember that if something sounds too good to be true, it probably is.
What about Vietnam? It's known for its motorbike culture, which seems exhilarating, but also maybe a bit chaotic. Is that a concern for women travelers?
One traveler recounted her experience in Vietnam, where the constant motorbike traffic was initially overwhelming. Her advice: start as a passenger on a ride-hailing app or guided tour to get a feel for the flow before attempting to navigate those bustling streets on your own. And she emphasized the importance of wearing a helmet even as a passenger.
Right. Safety first. Always good advice, no matter where you are. Okay, we've talked about Southeast Asia, but what about other parts of Asia? Are there any countries where women might need to take additional precautions? Yeah. India is often mentioned as a country where women need to be particularly vigilant. While India offers incredible cultural experiences, it also has a more complex safety landscape for women than some other Asian destinations.
What are some of the specific concerns in India?
Unfortunately, harassment and even assault against women are a reality in India.
Right.
The sources stress the importance of researching specific areas and choosing accommodation wisely. Staying in well-lit, reputable areas with good security measures is crucial, especially if traveling alone. And they cautioned against walking alone at night, even in seemingly safe areas.
That's sobering, but it's important to acknowledge these realities so women can travel with awareness and make informed decisions. What other tips did the sources offer for staying safe in India?
They suggested dressing modestly, avoiding unnecessary displays of wealth, and being assertive when dealing with unwanted attention.
Okay.
And they highlighted the importance of trusting your gut instincts. If a situation feels off, remove yourself from it, even if it seems awkward or rude. Your safety is paramount.
Right, better to be safe than sorry. And it's good to remember that even within a country as vast as India, there are regions and cities that are considered safer than others. Do any stand out in terms of safety for women?
One source mentioned the state of Kerala in southern India, which is known for its progressive social values and a relatively high female literacy rate. They also highlighted the city of Jaipur, which has implemented several safety measures for women, including women-only taxis and police help desks, specifically for female tourists.
That's good to know. It shows that positive change is happening, and there are places actively working to create a safer environment for women. Are there any other countries in Asia where women travelers might need to be especially cautious?
The sources mentioned Cambodia as another country where awareness is key. While Cambodia has made significant strides in improving safety for tourists, petty crime and scams, particularly in areas like Phnom Penh and Siem Reap, can still be a concern.
So it's about being street smart, keeping your valuables close, and not letting your guard down, even in seemingly safe tourist areas. What other practical tips did the sources offer for women traveling in Asia?
They stress the power of research. Familiarize yourself with local customs, learn a few basic phrases in the local language, and connect with other female travelers online or through social media groups.
Yeah.
Knowledge is power, and the more you know, the more confident you'll feel.
Absolutely. Being informed is half the battle. And beyond research, are there any tangible things women can do to enhance their safety?
Choosing accommodation wisely is paramount. Look for places with good security measures, positive reviews from other female travelers, and consider staying in all-female dorms or hostels, which can provide an extra layer of comfort.
I've also heard of some hotels that have women-only floors with dedicated staff and security measures. It's great to see the travel industry recognizing these needs. What about transportation? Are there specific things women should keep in mind when getting around in Asia?
The sources recommended using reputable transportation services, like official taxis or ride-hailing apps, especially when traveling alone. Avoid unmarked taxis or unsolicited ride offers.
Okay.
And if you're using a ride-hailing app, double-check the driver's details and share your ride information with someone you trust.
Those are smart precautions.
Yeah.
What about public transportation? It's often the most efficient and affordable way to get around, but can also be a bit daunting, especially in crowded cities.
The sources advise women to be extra vigilant on public transportation, especially during peak hours or at night. Try to position yourself near other women or families and be mindful of your belongings, as pickpocketing can occur in crowded spaces.
Right.
If possible, opt for women-only carriages on trains, which are becoming more common in some countries.
I didn't even know those existed. It's great to see these kinds of initiatives gaining traction.
Yeah.
What about communication? I imagine knowing a few basic phrases in the local language could be really helpful, especially in emergency situations.
Absolutely. Even knowing how to say no help or police in the local language can be empowering. And beyond words, body language is important too. Project confidence, walk with purpose, and make eye contact. It's about sending the message that you're alert and not an easy target.
So it's about being assertive both verbally and non-verbally. And what if, despite all these precautions, something does happen? What should women do if they find themselves in a situation where they feel unsafe?
The sources emphasize the importance of drawing attention to yourself.
Okay.
Speak loudly, shout for help, and don't be afraid to create a scene. Most people are willing to help if they see someone in distress.
Yeah.
And remember, you can always contact your embassy or consulate for assistance. They're there to support you no matter what.
Right. Having those contact details readily available is crucial. So we've talked about precautions, specific concerns, and resources. But beyond all the practical advice, what's the overall message for women who are considering solo travel in Asia?
The key takeaway is that while risks exist everywhere, awareness and preparation can significantly mitigate those risks. Don't let fear dictate your travel choices. By being informed, assertive, and connected, women can absolutely have safe and fulfilling travel experiences in Asia.
That's so empowering. Safety doesn't have to mean sacrificing adventure. It's about being smart, being prepared, and trusting your instincts.
Exactly. And remember, the vast majority of travelers, including solo women, have positive and enriching experiences in Asia. It's a continent full of incredible people, stunning landscapes, and vibrant cultures. Don't let fear hold you back from exploring all that it has to offer.
Yeah, I feel much more confident about traveling solo in Asia now. We've covered so much ground, from safety indexes and scams to cultural considerations and transportation tips. It's been a whirlwind of information, but I'm definitely feeling more prepared and empowered. What do you say we lighten things up a bit? After all, travel is supposed to be fun, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, after all that serious talk about safety, I am ready for a dose of travel inspiration. What are some of the fun, quirky things you uncovered in the sources that make these destinations so irresistible? Well, one article mentioned that Singapore, despite being this modern metropolis, has a law against chewing gum.
What?
They're known for their strict rules, but banning gum, that's next level.
No gum chewing allowed. Seriously. Why is that?
Apparently, it all comes down to maintaining Singapore's pristine image. They banned chewing gum back in 1992 to combat gum litter on sidewalks and public transportation. They take cleanliness very seriously.
Wow. So I guess I'll leave my bubble gum at home then. What about Japan? I know they're famous for their high-tech toilets and robot restaurants, but did you find anything truly out there?
Japan never disappoints in the weird and wonderful department. One article highlighted their vending machines, which go way beyond the usual snacks and drinks. You can find vending machines dispensing everything from fresh eggs and hot pizza to umbrellas, and get this, live beetles.
Live beetles? What in the world? I mean, I know Japan is known for its unique pet culture, but vending machine beetles, that's a new one.
Apparently, beetle fighting is a popular hobby, and these vending machines cater to that niche market.
Yeah.
It's just another example of how Japan embraces both tradition and technology in the most unexpected ways.
Okay. Japan officially wins the award for the most intriguing vending machine culture. Now, what about Bhutan, the land of gross national happiness? Any fun facts that stood out?
One thing that caught my eye is that Bhutan is the only carbon-negative country in the world.
Really?
Their constitution mandates that at least 60% of the country must remain forested, and they rely heavily on hydroelectric power. So they actually absorb more carbon dioxide than they emit.
That's incredible. It's like a real-life Shangri-La where happiness and environmental sustainability go hand in hand. Okay, now let's hop over to Taiwan, home of the Cat Cafe. What else did you discover about this island nation?
Well, Taiwan is a foodie paradise, and one article raved about their night markets.
Oh, yeah.
It's not just about the food, though. You can find everything from clothing and electronics to traditional crafts, even fortune tellers.
Oh, wow.
It's a sensory overload in the best way possible.
Fortune tellers. I love it. It's like stepping into a scene from a movie.
Okay, and I have to ask about South Korea and those themed cafes you mentioned earlier. Any particularly memorable ones?
Well, aside from the Hello Kitty Cafe and the Poop Cafe, which we've already discussed,
Right.
there's apparently a raccoon cafe where you can sip coffee surrounded by these mischievous creatures.
Raccoons in a cafe. That sounds like a recipe for chaos.
The reviews are mixed. Some people describe it as a delightful experience, while others warn that the raccoons can be a bit too hands-on with the customers and the pastries.
I can only imagine. All right, after all those city adventures, I'm yearning for some wide-open spaces. Mongolia is calling. What kind of unique experiences did you find there?
One source highly recommended staying in a traditional Mongolian ziger, which is a round, portable dwelling, kind of like a yurt.
Okay.
They're surprisingly cozy and spacious, and it's a truly immersive cultural experience.
Plus, didn't one of the articles mention something about Mongolians eating ice cream even in winter? Yes, it's true. They have street vendors selling ice cream, even when the temperature is below freezing. It seems like their love for this frozen treat knows no bounds.
That's amazing. Maybe Mongolian ice cream is made with some secret ingredient that keeps it from freezing solid. Okay, now let's move on to Laos, a country known for its laid-back atmosphere and stunning scenery.
One article described the magical experience of witnessing the daily almsgiving ceremony in Luang Prabang. Every morning before dawn, Buddhist monks walk through the streets collecting offerings of food from the locals. It's a beautiful and deeply spiritual tradition.
It sounds so peaceful and serene. Okay, what about those turquoise waterfalls I saw in one of the photos?
Ah, yes, the Guangxi Falls. They're a series of cascading waterfalls surrounded by lush jungles. You can even swim in the natural pools at the base of the falls. It's a true oasis of natural beauty.
Okay, I'm officially adding Laos to my list. After the tranquility of Laos, let's explore the mystique of Oman.
Oman is known for its ancient traditions, and one article highlighted their connection to frankincense. Oman is home to a species of frankincense tree that produces the highly prized rudison used in perfumes and incense.
Right.
It's been a valuable commodity for centuries and played a significant role in the ancient spice trade.
Frankincense. I remember learning about that in history class. It's amazing to think that this ancient tradition is still alive and well in Oman.
It is. And if you're interested in Omani history, I highly recommend visiting the ancient city of Nizwa, which was once a center of trade and learning. You can explore its historic forts, bustling souks, and traditional date plantations.
Now let's move on to Kuwait, a country that's not always on the top of travel lists, but sounds surprisingly intriguing.
One article described Kuwait's unique maritime heritage. They have a long tradition of dhow boat building, which dates back centuries. These traditional wooden sailing vessels were once used for trade and pearl diving, and now you can even take a dhow cruise to experience Kuwait's coastline.
A dhow cruise sounds amazing. What a wonderful way to connect with Kuwait's seafaring past. Okay, and lastly, let's talk about Qatar, host of the 2022 World Cup.
Qatar is known for its modern architecture and luxurious amenities. But one article delved into their fascinating tradition of falconry. Falconry is deeply ingrained in Qatari culture, and you can even visit a falcon hospital where they care for injured or sick falcons.
Falconry, that's incredible. I had no idea it was so prominent in Qatar. It's amazing how travel can expose you to traditions and practices you might never have known about otherwise.
Exactly. That's the beauty of exploration. It broadens our horizons and opens our minds to new possibilities.
Well, I think we've covered an incredible amount of ground in this deep dive. We've explored safety rankings, delved into practical tips, and even uncovered those quirky facts and hidden gems that make Asia such a captivating destination.
Absolutely. And hopefully you feel more informed and inspired to embark on your own Asian adventure.
Absolutely. Whether you're drawn to the futuristic cityscapes of Singapore, the peaceful serenity of Bhutan, or the vibrant street food scenes of Taiwan, Asia has something to offer every traveler.
But remember, before you pack your bags, take the time to research your destination. Familiarize yourself with local customs and prioritize your safety.
Because when you travel with awareness and respect, you open yourself up to truly incredible experiences.
So what does this all mean? Asia, with its diverse landscapes, fascinating cultures, and welcoming people, is a treasure trove waiting to be explored.
Choose your adventure, pack your bags, and embark on a journey filled with wonder and unforgettable memories.
And remember, even after this deep dive, there's always more to learn and discover. Asia is a continent of endless possibilities. Happy travels.